Hi, it's Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec. Today I'm here for the Scrapbook Nerd Online Shop, and I'm going to be creating the layout you see on the screen featuring mostly products from the Simple Stories Safe Travels collection. I'm also going to be talking a bit about layering on the layout in this process video. So here's what I'm going to be using. I have material. You can see I've selected the paper and I have a bunch of embellishments here, and I'll talk more about these products throughout the process. I will list everything I'm using and link up the products as well as the shop in the description box below as well. This collection, obviously it's a travel collection, but I find it super fun for summertime photos. I absolutely love it. So on my desk here, I prepared a frame style foundation with 3 sheets of paper and I've gutted 2 of them. So there is a tutorial on my channel where I do that. That will be linked up below as well. So I'm showing you the papers I have on my desk. I did mat that 6x4 photo with cardstock from Simple Stories. I'm about to show you a cut apart sheet. Now I don't end up using that one, but in a moment I'm going to show you a handful of tags, and that as well was a cut apart sheet from this collection. So I cut it up and you're going to see I do use it on this particular page. These stickers here, they're from 49 in Market from the Anywhere collection. They are washi tape stickers. I'll talk about those later on as well, but they are really fun. Here's my inspiration, actually. It's a page I saw in Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine, the Spring 2021 edition, on page 31, a page by Erica Thompson. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is prepare my foundation page. So I have my Big Shot out and I'm going to cut out a bunch of squares in 3 different pattern papers. I'll put measurements for these squares and everything else on the screen in case you're interested. Now I end up only needing 7 squares, but I didn't know this at this point, so you're going to see I end up cutting up a little pile of them. I'll use the other ones on the complimentary page. I'm also going to cut out a planner page, and you're going to see my die in a minute. It's from Elizabeth Craft Designs. I use it all the time. I absolutely love it. There are a whole bunch of Elizabeth Craft Design dies at the Scrapbook Nerd. Now they are for planners, but I don't do planners, and I have quite a few of these dies, and I absolutely love them. Now this planner page is perfect not only for journaling. You can see I'm using a graph paper there. That's actually from a photo play paper, but it's also a great layering piece. And you're going to see what I mean in a moment when I place all of these elements on my page. So essentially what I'm going to do with the squares is create a border on the left hand side of the page. So I'm just looking for a pattern that pleases me with these 3 different patterns. Then I'm going to, you'll see in a moment, layer up the planner page and then the photo. And what this creates is really a nice starting point for a layered layout. You're going to see how the planner page kind of overlaps those blocks, and then the photo overlaps the planner page. What I'll do right now is adhere the blocks to the page. So I'm going to adhere that border to the left-hand side of the page, but I will keep the planner page and the photo separate for a little while. That's because I'm going to want to play around with placement of the title as well as the embellishment clusters. I usually do this because the most important thing for me is to be able to accommodate my title as well as a spot for journaling. And at this point, I don't know where those are going to fit on my page. So you can see there I showed you a sticker sheet. Those are title foam thickers for this collection, and I literally cut out the word wander because it's on like a clear plastic. So I cut it out, and that permits me to play around with placement. I have those tags there, and I'm going to tuck some in at the top and at the bottom. And I find tags great for, number one, establishing a foundation layer for an embellishment cluster, but they're also great for layering. If you look at the placement, especially on the top there, it's kind of overlapping that yellow block and underneath the planner page. I'm also taking a piece of ephemera there. It's like a little tab with a diagonal stripe on it. I cut it in half. I tucked part of it at the top of the photo, part of it underneath. I'm placing the title underneath. And because the title is going there, overlapping the journaling box at the bottom, that made me realize I needed more of that journaling block, more of that planner page exposed on the right, so I would be able to do my journaling. I added another little piece from that foam thicker sheet, the title sheet, underneath the word wander. So with all of these loose pieces here, I'm going to start adhering before I continue with the embellishing. That's because I've got the main placement down. I know where the photo is going to go. I know where the planner page is going to go so that I can accommodate my title and my journaling. And I know where the foundation layers for my embellishment clusters will be placed, those tags. I have to adhere it because I have too many loose pieces on my desk and I can't really think past this until I adhere it, and then I'll come in with finishing touches. I also want to take note at the top of the photo there, you'll notice that diagonal stripe piece of ephemera is adhered between the photo and the photo mat. So what I was doing there was using the layers. Now what you see me doing is getting out this washi tape sticker sheet from 49 and Market from the Anywhere collection. One sheet is different pieces, that's kind of hidden right now, like separate stickers. And the one I'm using is literally a 6 by 12 sheet. And what I did was separated it from the plastic and kind of ripped it. This is a brand new product for me. I've never used anything like it. I don't usually use washi tape. Frequently, it's not acid free. This one's listed as acid free, and I'm telling you, I absolutely loved it. So basically what I did was I tore myself out a corner. It's like a map, and I put it in the bottom right corner. On top of it is where I will be placing those 3 word ephemera pieces. But before I do that, I'm going to do the very same thing for the top left corner. At this point, I think I'm going to put it directly underneath my photo on top of those squares, but I didn't want to hide those squares. So now you see me removing them. I'm adhering that washi torn strip underneath the, well, what will be underneath those squares, and then I'll put the squares on top of it. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm putting it directly on that white background paper. The reason why I can do this is because of the adhesive you see that I'm using there in those red dispensers. It's from Easy Runner, and it is a permanent adhesive, but it does permit you a little bit of wiggle room before it becomes permanent. If I were using another adhesive that became permanent right away, I wouldn't have been able to lift up those pattern piece squares and put the washi tape underneath. I often make these decisions or change my mind. That's why it's important I use an adhesive that gives me this wiggle room. You can see there now I'm placing those word ephemera pieces on top of that washi sheet at the bottom right, and I'm happy with that. Now I'm getting out those self-adhesive brads. So what I ended up doing is putting 3 of those self-adhesive brads in the tags that I cut out from the cut apart sheet. That's why I didn't poke out those holes. I knew I was going to be using those brads. Now I'm tucking in another piece of ephemera in that burnt orange color in the top left, just above the photo. And I'm doing that to repeat that same burnt orange that you see in those word ephemera pieces in the bottom right. And I'm going to add a piece of twine to this tag. So that twine there is from Lawn Fawn. So I'm just stringing it in. I didn't want to add a 4th brad there. I liked that I only had 3, so I decided to add twine to that tag. Now all I'm doing is getting out a stamp from my stash that says due today, and I'm stamping in black ink just in that tab on the top of that planner page, and that's where my journaling will eventually go. So when I show you the still shots at the end, just have a look at the layering, because what I want to point out here is that I really did work with the layers. I started by establishing a layered look with that border, that checkered border on the left, then the planner page, then the photo. That already created some layers. So within those layers, in different spots, I tucked in tags as well as that diagonal stripe ephemera piece. And while working with the different layers, tucking pieces in within different layers, it really creates a nice texture and a nice layered look. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the Scrapbook Nerd YouTube channel, we would be absolutely thrilled if you did. The same thing for my channel, Scrapbooking Quebec. Also, be sure to check out the shop. They have tons of fun products coming in all the time. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon on YouTube. Bye-bye.